So there is no way you can avoid marketing. There are some few particularities based on your profession. So for example, artist. I know that there are communications major, photography majors, art design or graphic design majors, marketing majors, finance majors, accounting majors here. But especially for those with the inclination towards the arts, beforehand, you have to know if you don't have a public for whatever you're producing, you have a discourse, a speech that will justify whatever you are doing. And the speech and its audience themselves are your customers. So you cannot escape, even if you are in arts. And if you are producing, I have had some students who are excellent artists, kind of a really admirable students, which production is kind of like awesome, but you have to have a speech, a discourse that is justifying whatever you are producing. And that's kind of very important stuff. And marketing will help you out to define how to express yourself or to adjust the speech or the discourse to your production. Well, last time we just stopped here, and we were describing what a modern marketing system is, and these are like the main elements: the suppliers, the company, the competitors. There are marketing intermediaries, and we have finally the final consumers. Now, I explained to you before that suppliers will sell either to you, to your company, or your competitors' marketing offerings. We call them marketing offerings. We don't call them products or services. And so either you will decide to distribute directly to the final buyer, to the final consumer, or you will use a wholesale system, a group of marketing intermediaries to help you to distribute successfully your product. So kind of one of the kings, well, actually, I think that is the king of marketing intermediaries is Walmart. All the retail industries by itself, they are meant to exist to do that. They receive products to bring it closer to the final consumers. And so the final consumers can come to the store and meet the product or the marketing offering. Now, let's go a little, this is the School of Business, the College of Business. Has been business has go through turbulent times, believe it or not. 100 years ago, most of the academic world didn't believe that business should be placed inside of the universities. They thought they were just trade skills, that they were not kind of like professionals. And actually accountants were among those. Uh, Accountants are among those who, defend, took a strong position and told them, we are very useful to society. You have to have a place for us inside of the universities. But well, we were accepted about 100 years ago in the US, about probably 80 years ago in other parts of the world. And we've developed something called marketing management. And we define that as mostly an art, more than a science, of choosing target markets and building profitable relationships in those target markets. So we have this marketing offering, we pick to which people we want or organizations we want to sell our marketing offering, and we go and sell the thing to those targets. And in that process, there are two main questions we have to ask. What customers and how do we serve them? And those two things are kind of things that you have to memorize. Which one is your target market? Which people are you serving? How can you serve them? So what can you offer them that they become interested in you? Those two primitive questions are extremely important. If you don't have a good target, whatever money you invested on your business probably will be lost. Number two, what can you offer to them that they become interested on you? And that's not only about business. Think on yourselves. You are in the university because you want to acquire skills, and those skills will help you to build a value proposition in such a way that you will find a customer, an employer, probably an employer, or even inside of your family business, who will be interested in hiring you because you are bringing this value proposition that is compatible with their needs, wants, and demand. Now, we will talk about differentiation. Okay, you are very good at doing this, but how can you differentiate yourself? There are some strategies to do that. But the most important moment at this moment of the class, remember, targeting a market is extremely important. You may lose everything if you don't think about it. Now, a brief comment, an additional comment, almost forgot this thing. This is how you do it. You go to the bar. This is just a silly example, okay? You go to the bar, especially for the guys. You are in the bar, right? So what you do before anything else, you are standing in the entrance. You look at all the bar, and you start separating, creating a taxonomy, classifying the bar, which people are in the bar. And probably it will depend on what you are looking for. But if you are looking for your friends, to say it in one way, you find that target, that physical place, or that target where you approach and you consume happiness, or just you consume fun. That's the marketing offering the bar is offering you, is giving you fun. But once in the bar, when you enter, you do something called market segmentation, which is you look at everything. You classify all the people on the bar very fast. Not necessarily your classification is correct, but you did it. You guessed, and you went for a market segment, which is the group of your friends. Okay. Market segmentation, that's another construct. We do a lot of stuff with that construct. Now, Now, the value proposition. You have to figure out the needs and wants of your customer base in such a way that you can come up with a value proposition that is of their interest. And now the value proposition is that set of benefits or values it promises to deliver to customers to satisfy their needs. And actually, that is exactly what makes you different. That your value proposition is the main base for you to be able to differentiate yourself in the market. You want to be different. We love to be different because if we are different, people will see you like an special marketing offering, such a way that you will have better chances to sell something, to offer something to somebody. Just think about your personal relationships. Think just food for thought. What makes you different? Why the girl, why the guy is with you? What is making you different? And that probably you will find out a very specific skill or characteristic that makes you attractive, not only for your partner, probably from a possible employer. And if you find out what makes you different, that's your clue. Just develop more that skill, that characteristic if possible. And you will be really different in life and you will have many more chances to be successful. Now, let me go to here. Okay, we have some constructs, some concepts we have to deal with. We have to get used to them. The production concept will always, you have to consider, consumers will always favor products that are available and affordable. Always think whatever you are producing, you have to make the the product to be the customer to be able to acquire the product. So just think, where are you going to produce it? You will say, well, everybody produces in China. Not necessarily. There are many American brands that are produced in the US, such as the Red Wings boots. The Red Wings boots, they are really proud to use American workforce to produce their marketing offerings. Another concept is the one moment, please. The product concept. Watch out. You will think, okay, I will produce something that is high quality, nice performance, innovative features, and is the cheapest of the market. You can't do that. The moment you say it's good and it's cheap, you make confusion on everybody. Everybody starts, you know, they don't feel confident. People don't feel confident if you mix both of them. It's not telling you this. It was shown, it was demonstrated by Michael Porter, the former Harvard Business School director, who demonstrated how a big uh, airplanes company, uh, Pan Am, had to stop. They had to stop their operations. They went bankruptcy because they offered you quality and the best price. You can do that. You are cheap or you are expensive. But if you are cheap, You are somehow reliable, acceptable, not the big thing, but you solve the thing, or expensive, and you offer the best quality that the market has to offer. Another concept is a selling concept, and this is important for you to know. People, consumers, will not buy enough from you just because you are there. You have to go for them. You have to sometimes when possible, launch a large scale selling and promotion effort. That's the reason TV is so important and they have so much money. The TV stations, they own the means to communicate to the large mass of consumers. So they really charge you an arm and a leg for airing a commercial. Uh, and the reason is very straightforward. You don't talk to your customers, they, they will not look for you. And that's where mayors, as communications, the communications mayor come so handy, so important for the business world. Now, we have the marketing concept. And the marketing concept is about achieving organizational goals. Well, how you achieve those organizational goals will depend on knowing the needs and wants of your customers and to deliver the marketing offerings that give the customers the solution they are looking for. Uh, Very important. The timing is important. If you, and where I'm coming from in high school, the junior high, you know, that in high school, junior high, the common saying was, the one who hits first hits twice. Kind of silly things among boys. But in marketing, that's very true. If you start before everybody else, you have something called first mover advantage. Also, another concept from Harvard Business School. And that implies that you will put the rules. You say how things are going to be in that industry. And that's truly important. So that's the marketing concept. Now, there is another concept, the societal marketing concept. From probably 15 years up to now, maybe 20 years, from 20 years to now, we have seen many corporate scandals, many, and people, investors lose or all their wealth, all their money, because a couple of smart guys went into business, convinced them to invest their wealth in something that at the end it was just a bet. So since the last 20 years in the business, in the College of Business, in all your classes, you should be receiving a little bit of invitation for you to think over things. Just think on, think and act ethically. Don't play around. I know it's sometimes it will depend on the context. To be unethical is fun, even is in, but don't do it. Eventually things accommodate and it will be there. Then, well, you find out if you don't follow an ethical path, you will find out things that you may don't like them. And customers realize that that's not only about the investors to be scammed, but also customers can realize that you have acted with malfeasance with investors or with customers. And those corporations, those organizations will have the tendency to bankruptcy. Now, let's contrast two things, important things. Selling and marketing, two different things. Selling is I just go sell to you, period. I push towards you a product, I convince you, I'm done, I'm gone. I take your check, run away. Marketing, the marketing concept. The marketing concept goes, the marketer goes to the customer, to the client, figures out the needs and the wants, establishes the infrastructure, the business processes, the policies, the organizational policies to fulfill properly those needs and wants. And so the profits goes through the profits that the marketer receives, the marketer receives will go through the customer satisfaction of the customer. Why is this so important? Because you want to remain in the market. You can scam whoever you want once or twice, but you cannot scam them forever. And that's not what a business is meant to be. A business is meant to be forever, to stay there forever. 100 years, 200 years, whatever you can last with your business. And the only way is the marketing approach, the marketing concept, not the selling concept. Selling concept is kind of really old. Kind of, I produce this thing, I push the product on you. So it's kind of the selling concept is an inside outside perspective. I produced it, I push it to you. Whereas the marketing concept is an outside inside perspective. I know what my capabilities are. I'm going to you, figure out your needs and wants, and I come back with a value proposition. That's the reason when you when you are looking for a job, it's very important for you to, number one, know what value proposition you are able to produce. Number two, which one is your differentiator? Is there something that will give the job, they will push them to give me the job and not them? But watch out, there is a confusion. It's not you pushing your skills. You come and you offer a solution. So after you know which one are your differentiators, you do your research on the company, they will interview you and you figure out where they are. You probably will not be able to get inside information, but if you look in the internet, you will figure out where they are. So you adjust your value proposition and you tell them, I know you are going to this market. Well, guess what? I'm very good at that. And I'm bringing to you this solution. It's not about who you are. It's about what can you solve. The approach is very different. Okay. Now, just a little bit about a small comment on social marketing is, number one, act ethically. Very important for you to know. This is a stool with a seat with 3 feet, okay? The society, the consumers, and the company. As many efforts you make for one, those many efforts to make for the other one, for society, for consumers, and for the company. And the company means the employees. The employees have to see your corporation as a fully sustainable investment project where their efforts will produce gains, produce benefits. So sometimes people miss that part. There are many companies where you go to work and the classic phrase is, they try me like any employee. They are treating me as any employee. That's completely wrong. Employees have to consider the organization as their second home. That's the reason you go to Google, they have ping pong tables, they have basketball courts. Everybody wears whatever they want. They have chess tournaments, and you would say chess tournaments, and you would say, well, it's because they are so cool. No, because they like money, and they know that if they invest in those 3 feet of that seat, they will cash a lot of benefits. It has been already researched, and that's the conclusion. Invest on those of 3, on the 3 of those. Sorry for my English, I'm a little tired. And now remember, the balance of those 3 is kind of key, and it's the same for you. It's the society, in this moment probably your university, probably some of your friends, not all of them, you as a student, and your family, or whoever is supporting you. You have also three feet that supports you. That's kind of normal. You figure out, that's very interesting. You figure out that support through linear programming. It's linear algebra, not programming. Okay, sorry. Let's go for now. The marketing mix. This is for you to memorize the rest of your lives. If you don't memorize these 4 words, you will embarrass yourself, because everybody has already agreed in many fields. There are 4 P's. Okay, the 4 P's were defined so many years ago. I believe it was in the 60s when they Alberton figure out there are 4 P's, which I kind of the main it's kind of a summary of what marketing is. And you go to one of those P's as you please, as you feel more comfortable with, and you can specialize on one of those 4 P's. And those 4 P's taken together are the marketing mix. So each of them, the product, price, promotion, and place, are just constructs that summarize under them many techniques, many academic efforts to figure out how to make the corporation successful and its marketing offerings. Okay, always you have to have the 4 of them. You can argue, well, I have a marketing offering that is just put in a, crystallized in a product, and I don't have any power and price because it's settled beforehand, even by the government. I am not allowed to promote. I don't have place because I deliver to a warehouse. Well, always you will have product, price, promotion, and place. Always. And you will be always able to produce something, to come up with something to optimize for your final consumer each of those pieces. Now, let's go a little bit. Okay. There is a very nice area specialty for everybody, mostly for everybody, which is the customer relationship management. And they will always have this, there is software. There is software, oh, I'm sorry, it was somebody was left out. G was left out. There is this software that will help you out to figure out how to manage your customers. Remember the last time you had to call somebody because the computer wasn't working, because something you just purchased didn't have enough instructions, and you have to contact them to figure out something? You call once, you call twice, and by the third time you called, they knew who you were. And you say, well, they were different people, and well, they know me. That's amazing. No, there is software for that. Well, they type in all the interaction with you. And that software is called Custom Relationship Management Software, CRMs. We will talk a lot about that CRM during this semester. You can specialize on that. Watch out. Those who are artists, you would say, well, not necessarily. I don't talk to customers. Well, you do. You do. You know which are where the money goes in arts? It goes to the really, truly unique, amazing artists that they were so lucky to become famous before dying, or to the arts history major who has all these contacts and he's chasing for, you know, a painting from this guy who's coming out of the light, and eventually he will be very valuable. So he approaches the painter and he tells the artist, I will try to sell your works, okay? Just give me a chance. So the arts history major goes to possible investors who actually they don't know about arts. They just have money, and they will figure out if they want it or not. And they will start communicating with the arts history major, telling the guy, you know, the intermediary, you know, I'm looking something like a landscape, a winter landscape. Finding somebody who's a specialist on that. This is to tell you, customer relationship management is everywhere. It's everywhere. You cannot escape that. One moment, please. 23 here. Okay, there are blocks. When you interact with your customer, you want to figure out how the customer perceives the value is receiving from you, number one. Number two, how satisfied the customer is. And it will depend on your relative performance as compared to the customer expectations. Watch out again. The customer is not expecting from you infinite number of advantages. No, they are looking for one or two. And if you offer those, even if you fail in others, they will take you. And you can figure out that through the use of the customer relationship management, either software or experience. Now, the customer-centered firm will always be that firm that is just focused on satisfying customers' needs and wants. You cannot stop communicating with the customer. The customer will give you the clues for you to continue, to figure out what he wants, what to produce. There are uh, these building blocks. The first one so is the perceived value, and the perceived value is what he's expecting from you. I cannot repeat that enough number of times. Do not get passionate about what you are doing. Yes, you may like what you are doing. Do not get passionate. Just ask the guy you are targeting, who's in your target, what do you want? And based on what he wants, you decide I can produce something for you or not. And remember, two main, for now, two main targets or customers. The customer for whom you sell inexpensive things, probably Chinese things. So, well, you cannot charge too much. So you try to sell volume. You try to sell many of those things, okay? But what about if you want to make money in each transaction, a lot of money? So you have to position yourself as somebody producing high quality. And so you need to create full partnerships. Really hear closely what the customers understand as high quality and offer that. Now, a customer engagement marketing refers to the fact that you will always have the customer always continuously involved in whatever you are doing, continuously. So this is a paradigm that by this time you have to have change. The customer doesn't look for you, you look for the customer. Even worse, you talk to the customer, you understand the customer, and so you produce something. You see, you don't start producing nilly-willy things thinking that everybody will love you. Probably a couple of people will love you, but probably many no, many will not. And that is the thing. And why you want to have the customers involved. First of all, if you figure out the guy or the guys, if you figure them out, the first thing that will come up in their mind when they hear your name or your corporation or your brand will be, this guy or these guys understand me. And that's a huge thing. So you don't have to do it all marketing by intrusion. Intrusion means you are passing by and they force to take this advertising. I don't have one now. This advertising, I'm here and look at me. No, you feel attracted by them because you know that they know you. And the most important thing is that you convert people in such a way that now they become active promoters of whatever you are doing. And that's the whole point. If you can do that, if you can produce expectations to people that you never met, that's wonderful, because now you have a probably profitable company. You have a company that probably will have some success in the market. That's another message. Not because you are opening your office, you will be successful. Most of them fail, kind of like 90% of new ventures fail badly. They lose everything. Like 10% have some shot in the market. You know how many businesses have closed with registered addresses um, for, due to the coronavirus? 4.5 million in the US, at least. That you can have access. Eventually, I will show you how you can have access to those, to the data of those companies, at least the addresses and the names of those companies and their employees. 4.5 million in few months, and starting over will be very painful for those guys. And if they don't have a very sound, nice marketing program, it's not going to work. And if before they didn't have this customer engagement marketing approach, they will not be able to come back. Now, we fight with whatever we have at hand. Now, marketing becomes a fight for survival. So we listen at the customer, we figure out the customer, we think we could figure out the customer. It's very common that you didn't do it, that you didn't make it well. And that's the reason of the class of marketing research, to figure out how to, to approach customers, to extract the information. And once you have figure out the customer, well, you try to fight with whatever you have at hand. And so you start establishing partnerships, and you start forming cross-functional customer teams, and you start talking to everybody. The big secret in marketing is talk to everybody. And especially you start dealing with your supply chain. Your suppliers have to be aligned with your customers, and you are in the middle of them. So you have to come up with this supply chain management strategy. If the customer likes something green, and you know they are producing something, I don't know, black, talk to them. And if you have the checkbook with you, convince them that you need green stuff because the clients want green stuff. You have to align everybody, and that's a huge effort. That's not easy to do. Now, how much is the value? Why we're doing this? Because we want money. Why we want money? Because this is the capitalism. And because even in the socialism, they wanted money. And you want money because you serve better, not only to yourself, but to your investors, to your employees, and to society. You serve better. That's the reason you want money. So you have this guy who's buying from you remote controls, remotes. And well, this guy came and bought one. You don't know this guy is a retailer. So probably he's trying out your business. He's not he's not somebody who's the owner of a TV or radio or whatever. So what you want to from that customer is money. I sold this thing for $10. Okay, probably I won $2. Is that the right way to measure somebody's business? No. It will never be. And the accountants will tell you, okay, no, 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 no. You have income for 10, you have a cost for 2. So you got money for you, which were just 2. You don't have more. It doesn't work in that way. The guy will come back to purchase you more of this for whatever reason. So we have the customer lifetime value, which is the, let's assume that this guy will buy from you 10 remotes, 10. In each of them, you made 2 for you. So at the end, this guy will give you at the end of his lifetime as a customer, will give you 20. So you consider that guy with a face value of 20. Okay? So you add up into a lump sum all the discounted cash flows of the net income you are getting from your customers. And on a case-by-case basis, you define the customer lifetime value. And that is a very important concept. That concept has been in the literature for 6 years about. In the finance literature, they have been there for 70 years, since the 50s, I believe, 40s, in the cash flows. And that's how they value corporations. Well, we don't value the corporation in marketing. We value the customer. And we say this customer will produce this amount of cash flows as a net income in this period of time. And you purchase corporations based on that, not only based on the firm value as determined by the finance guys. Okay, eventually we will see an exercise of that. Now, from the customers, you want money, okay? It was the example for this one. The guy will buy probably, the most probable thing, based on my calculations, the guy will buy 10 of these. His lifetime will give me 20. Okay, well, he has money. He has money. Why should I be happy with just 20? How can I sell him more? So you produce something else. Probably you will be able to produce this thing and this thing and brand them together. And so you say, you know, you go to the customer and you say, well, you are buying from me these remotes. Well, now I have speakers. Do you want one? It has same quality as our remotes. Or another way to do it, because sometimes opening new lines of businesses, a new line of business is very expensive. Other way to do it is, okay, let's start by, you know, what about if I sell to you batteries? It's a complement of whatever you are selling me now. You are buying from me now. So this is another way to make money. You see, you want with the customer. It sounds very unethical, but you want to squeeze them, squeeze him. You want to have as much money from the guy as you can. Now, if you add up all the lifetime uh, customer values, you call it customer equity. So let's assume this. I have this guy, right? He came, he purchased this one, and I know he will buy a total of 10. So I got 2 now, but I will get 18 eventually, right? Eventually he will come to buy to me, to buy to me these 9 of these things. But the somebody, a competitor comes and tells me, you know what? I like your customer. I like your customer listings. Let's do this. Only for these products. Sell me one just to try him. I can tell him, well, you know what? This guy came, purchased one, gave me 2 for me as a net income out of cost. But you know what? He's coming for 9 more. So his value is 18. Actually, his customer equity is a total of 20, but I already got 2. So I can offer to you a customer equity of 18. Do you want him or not? I can sell him to you because I'm so good guy with you. I'm so good friend. Give me 25. You will get 18 for sure. So you are discovering in this conversation something. The customer listings are sold. It's very frequent. When you go online and you say, well, yes, put those little cookies in my browser, you are providing information and is going to be sold. Same thing. But in our example, which is in a very controlled environment, is you have this guy who will produce 18 and the present customer equity without considering the 2 you got already is 18. It's a number. So this is one of the most important things for you to know now. It doesn't need to cause any kind of stress. Marketing is numbers. Yes, it's math. Why? Because you want money and you count money and you make calculations on money. It's math. Are we going to use math in this class? No. It's almost nothing. Probably a couple of additions somewhere. But eventually when you go to the market, you have to figure out at least arithmetics. And if you go deeper, you have to know statistics. Okay, almost there, almost there. Don't run into desperation. This figure is important. It classifies customers into one of 4 relationships groups according to their profitability and according to the projected loyalty. So now you have people who are customers who are very profitable and people who are or not loyal to your brand. What do you do with them? Well, if you have somebody who is not that profitable and they are not very loyal, kind of one-time purchase because they didn't find the right pharmacy or they didn't find the right retail store, so you call them strangers. You know what? Don't do anything for them, anything, unless they move towards a higher loyalty segment. Don't do for them anything. Don't invest money on them. You have the butterflies, which are those who are very profitable guys, customers, but you know what? They are not loyal. Probably probably they are just testing your product. They have money, they are eager to give it to you for a good margin, but they are not that loyal because they are testing you. You have to do whatever effort you can to make them loyal customers, especially through friends. Worst case scenario, hoping it will never happen, a barnacle. The barnacles are not that good. So you want them to be true friends. So you invest in them. Now you have true friends, and these guys are profitable and loyal. You have do you have to convert them in something else? Yes, you have to do it. You have to convert them in true believers in such a way they start promoting your marketing offering. Hey, I use Mac. What about you? Or I have a Ford. You have a Chevy? Use a Ford. Get a 150. You see, you want to convert them into believers. And you have the barnacles. Barnacles are little organisms living in the sea that they are just profiting from whatever is falling down to the bottom of the sea. So they are not, they are eager to stay with you. They are very loyal, but you are not making money from with them. And it's highly probable you have to fire them. Just get rid of them because they are not producing money. They are loyal to you, yes, but probably you don't want them. Sony Corporation does a lot of what I'm telling you. There are some divisions in Sony. Probably you didn't see them, but in 2014 was the last year Sony was selling a laptop. They were selling laptops, but they figured out that yes, they got a very solid, loyal base of customers, but they were not profitable. So they divest the 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 that section of the business, the strategic business unit. That's the right concept. Just remember, they divest the strategic business unit of laptops, went away somewhere else, and you don't see any more Sony laptops in the market. It's rarely to find them. I think in Asia, in some places you can find them, but I'm not sure of that. Now, a couple of last slides for today's class. Marketing is changing. This is where your generation is by far much more capable and well trained than my generation. All those guys that are older than 35 have less skills than you in all this. Marketing, the landscape is changing. Is going towards the digital age, is going towards online, mobile, social media marketing, and really nobody can tackle that challenge better than you. And that's a big differentiator you already have. So, participate actively on in those, you know, some of you may see them as fashionable things that tomorrow will disappear. No, not necessarily. This is how it is changing, and you are promoting the change. Actually, you are the creators of the change, your generation. So take advantage of that and be very knowledgeable about what is going on. If somebody talks to you about TikTok, Know what is that immediately. If you don't participate, go for it. Figure out what is there. If you don't like it, move on. Figure out the thing, move on. So now, in social media, in mobile marketing, things happen. You take decisions, you have friends, and you don't realize it. But through artificial intelligence algorithms, somebody is reading what you are doing. Not necessarily it's a bad thing. They are trying to figure you out as customers. So do not get scared about that. Eventually, we will talk about artificial intelligence and how they are large corporations are using your data to know your needs and wants and whether you have or not a demand to create better marketing offerings and convince you more easily. Finally, there is a, as I told you last class, get used to thick accents. Everything is running crazily towards globalization. It's a reality. You will see whole industries, competitors, opportunities rising from nowhere land. You never thought that place existed on earth. So get used to it. Learn foreign languages. A very sad thing that to me is very sad is that you are not a diverse group as I would like to. I would love to have Chinese, Indian people, people coming from Thailand, from coming from Philippines, from coming from Hungary, from Czechoslovakia, from Peru, who really they make a change. From Ghana, people from South Africa, those guys are so damn smart, and they really enrich a class, a discussion. But if you don't have that opportunity, don't worry. Eventually, you will have that opportunity. And just don't forget, ethics is around everything, and social responsibility, especially since the law, the Sarbanes-Oxley law, that we will eventually talk about it on on corporate governance, is shaping everything up again. Do you guys have any question? I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. The last just a recommendation. The last slide. Go to slide 37 when you are studying. Start from there and go back to the slides and read them all. And now, because that's kind of the summary of the chapter, so do that. Go back to the top of the slides, read them all, and from there, now go to the book. Read the book. The book is really worth it. Written by somebody far, far much more smarter than me. So follow the book.